Hello guys, oh my god, I missed reacting, I missed the reactions, I missed watching Ultra Vegito. For you guys who haven't noticed, I'm off for my YouTube for a while because I've been on a trip. And I've just got back and let's just go, roll for the next episode reaction for Call Me ARJ. This time I want to react on Ultra Vegito finally loses the first of the 5 strongest. So without further ado, let's just jump in guys to the video reaction. So let's go, let's check and let's react. Okay, let's go, 3, 2, 1, go.
So our story continues with Vegito looking at the mysterious new swordsman who had just arrived on the battlefield, moments before the God Killer was about to absorb the energy of Boo.
Yeah,
and though
he wants to absorb the energy of Kid Boo, and not Kid Boo, the Boo that has transformed the
heavily armor-clad warrior stands silent, just staring into the eyes of Vegito without break, a puzzled Vegito would then question, "Huh? First of the 5 strongest, did you say? What on earth is that?
Yeah.
Some kind of Korean pop band? I'm afraid you may be in the wrong manga, bud, because those words mean nothing to me."
Oh.
Before immediately, as if taking offense to Vegito's words, the swordsman swings his obnoxiously heavy blade, yelling, "Well, maybe this will mean something instead." Huh? What are you? Leading to Vegito momentarily stunned in place as he wonders what the figure even plans on doing from such a distance. As the black swordsman then callously brings down his blade with the force and intensity of a god, and just with one swing creates a torrential storm of wind and pressure that blows straight towards the God Killer and Boo. And immediately, the deformed and disfigured Boo from earlier, with no energy left, is tossed into the wind like a helpless insect, flying far off while... Whoa, cool! Vegito, meanwhile, is hit so hard by the intense winds, his entire face begins to shift and blow back, as the high-pressure air reaches into every nook and cranny and cavity in his face.
He loves it.
But in the aftermath, as the wind eventually stops, a smirking Vegito is left with his hands dropped back down and his torso arched, as he looks at the stranger responding, "Well, I'll be. All that from just one swing of that oversized butter knife? You're no weakling, are you? At least you better not be, because you've just got my hopes up for a real battle." Disgusting. But the disapproving warrior would just then place his giant sword back on his shoulder and begin saying, "You're just as the Grand Priest had described. A primitive mortal who knows only violence and bloodshed. Too stupid to even know when you are far out of your depths. How you survive so long fighting these so-called gods is beyond me. But this charade ends here, God Killer." Huh? But of course, the mention of the Daishinkan in the first part of his reply instantly catches Vegito's attention, as he then remarks, "Wait a second, what did you just say? The Grand Priest? How would you know of him, even in this timeline?" To which the standing tall swordsman would just then briefly respond, "Probably because for starters, I am not from this timeline, my ape-like friend. I was sent here on the orders of the priest himself to eliminate you once and for all." What? Which suddenly triggers the enraged Saiyan, as he raises a clasped fist and suddenly becomes surrounded in black
mad.
electricity all over as he
He's
yells
mad.
angrily, "So that's your game! You work for that damn midget! And I suppose by default, you're also a slave to Zeno too! An ally of the gods, and you know what that means, right, friend?" To which the swordsman, without a hint of trepidation, angling his head, would then say,
Okay,
Hi,
now.
my name is Jeff Clark, and today I want to show you something just a little bit crazy. In just a moment.
"First of all,
Okay.
you do well to address Lord Zeno and Daishinkan
Daishinkan.
with more respect, mortal. But no, please enlighten me. What exactly does it mean then?"
Okay.
"It means that you too must die
Die
now!"
now.
As Vegito suddenly now displaying the same hunger for vengeance as he had for the gods, rushes in with killer intent.
Okay.
Blasting forward right towards the hardly moving swordsman, reaching within touching distance in nanoseconds. As once face to face, the god killer would cock back his arm fully to administer one
Vegito
of his
is using
signature
full power
devastating
mode
punches.
from the start. Not even his ultra form anymore.
But unbelievably, even in his final form,
Yeah, final
some
form.
way somehow, his punch is caught with ease, like a mere baseball in the palm of the swordsman's hands. He stopped me!
Even
This
in the
development,
final
of
form.
course, taking Vegeta off guard, as this was the last thing he'd expect
Yep.
from one who is neither god nor angel. As the true power of his attack is seen from miles away, creating a shockwave that rocks the very earth itself, even when blocked. "You must have got lucky! Now get off!" But as Vegito then struggles to remove his fist from the grip of the stranger, he soon realizes just how futile the attempt is, as the swordsman does not budge even an inch. "What?" Leaving Vegito with a bemused look as he wonders internally, am I seeing this right? Or is this a fever dream? Why does it feel like I'm powerless next to this guy?
Yep.
It's like I'm glued into place.
He
So
is
strong.
he is in his final form. He is not in normal base or just Super Saiyan. He is in his final form. Even not only in Ultra, in final form.
Is this metalhead's grip? It's pretty strong, God Killer. Instantly being interrupted with an answer from the swordsman, despite Vegito only thinking within his mind. "What? You can read my mind?" Leaving Vegito stunned, as he can only explain the stranger's outburst in one way. "No, I can't. You're just that predictable."
He's crushing.
Instantly then moving his hand and breaking Vegito's wrist in the process. Leaving Vegito at first shocked as the adrenaline and shock of the moment dulls his pain until... Taking in the pain of his own breaking so easily, he yells a blood-curdling scream in the face of the
Okay,
warrior.
wow. Okay, this is interesting.
As meanwhile, the armored foe pulls back a fist of his own with conviction. Landing with extreme speed and extreme potency, as not even moments after being struck, Vegito's entire body is shot away. Smashing through multiple mountains, going through them like pieces of paper, in most likely one of the hardest hits the Saiyan had felt throughout the entire series.
Okay.
Whoa! Meanwhile, though,
Even the
noticing
Goku inside the shop.
all of this, of course,
Oh no, this the Goku from
are
the
the Z fighters,
Z Fighters. Goku from the Z Fighters.
with Goku saying, "And now look, this guy's even stronger than the last one. What's going on?" Where are they even coming from? While a triggered Vegeta says, This is absurd!
They are shocked to see their power is so outclassed by Vegito, by Boo, by Vegito, and now by this guy.
I trained all this time just to surpass Kakarot, and out of nowhere, I'm being blown out of the water again! It's not fair! Damn it all! While the Supreme Kai, being the most nervous of the lot, just thinks, the 5 strongest. I know of them. I'd heard rumors that the Grand Priest was even among that group. Is that fellow really insinuating he's one of the 5? But not down and out yet. Vegito soon explodes with rage out of the rubble, sending rocks and boulders flying all over in the nearby vicinity. His right arm now missing its glove, exposing his rings but still deformed. He then grabs onto it and violently snapping it back into place despite the pain. And then with a newfound annoyance, he lifts up his now fixed up fist into the air and yells, "First of the 5 strongest, huh? Get real, and nobody like you is nothing! Allow me to introduce you to the strongest in the multiverse!"
Okay.
Before lowering his head with nothing short of a furious expression and continuing, "And allow me to introduce you to my body, as your energy will be
He will
mine."
absorb
Before a
his energy.
strange sound activated by his black eye then sounds off. But soon a look of surprise comes across the swordsman's face. But it isn't from Vegito's deadly threats, but instead... What? As the warrior looks into the sky, something far more alarming is seen, with 4 ominous figures in the sky shooting
The
down
gods
towards
or the angels. Yeah.
And eventually when we zoom in, it is unbelievably revealed to be the ghostly apparitions of all 4 of the angels Vegito has absorbed thus far. With Margarita, Cognac, Vados, and Martinu all seen rushing down silently, but with ridiculous speed as expected of the angels.
Yep. They're fighting.
Seeing
What's
this
the
from
fight
below,
for this?
the warrior can't help but think, the angels. No doubt about it. The energy signatures are the same.
Yep.
So this is the cretin's power. Using the power of deceased angels for his own usage and against their will. This blasphemy cannot be forgiven.
Okay.
As quickly, the swordsman swings his blade back, crouching his stance and readying himself until... He launches like a cannon, sword in hand, straight up and towards the 4 approaching angels. And instantly, in a flash, outclassing the speed of even the 4 Ultra Instinct users, the mystery warrior appears right in the thick of things, right in the middle of the 4 until... Grabbing his sword tightly and...
boom in one shot.
Be at rest, my angels! Before swiping his massive blade with the
He
utmost
slices
of
the
power.
4 angels directly. Boom.
And in one fell swoop, it appears all 4 of the angels are sliced dead set right through the middle, with each of the ghostly angels left shocked as a result. And though despite the slice, nothing seems to come of the attack, the swordsman then turns his head in a look of respect and lets out, "I'm sorry. I vow to free you from this nightmare soon enough, my friends." Before immediately then vanishing from the spot, leaving the angelic apparitions even more bemused in his dust. Immediately then reappearing on the ground below again, staring above at his supposed victims until... launching his blade once again with force. He then stabs the very earth with his blade as if trying to injure the planet itself, yelling as he does so.
Okay, what is his game?
Technology, computers, and coding.
Your suffering ends here! And just like that, all four of the divine beings are sliced right through the middle unceremoniously, as if being affected by a highly delayed attack. What? Leaving the God Killer near speechless as he watches on at the unlikely events, thinking to himself,
how can the ghostly apparition of angels four at the same time? It's just so easy.
He just took out 4 angels without breaking a sweat? There's no way! Ridiculous! In a flash, causing Vegito to become angered to the core. His body instantly once again creating sparks of black lightning out of his own volition, as he raises his right hand up and inexplicably then closes it tight. And almost in response, as if the planet were a slave to Vegito, the ground beneath the swordsman suddenly begins breaking apart to his surprise. And within an instant, a hole of massive proportions opens to a near bottomless pit beneath the warrior. And as he inevitably falls in, he wonders momentarily, what a primitive move. When would he have even had time to prepare this? Before beginning to fly back up thinking, how foolish anyway. Does he really believe I cannot just fly out? Before, just as he said, he then launches into the sky, straight for the entrance of the hole. But just as he reaches the very top and his head begins to peek out, yet another shocking sight greets the ironclad fighter, as his eyes grow wider and wider, and he mutters,
what is he
"No,
seeing?
this cannot be!
Energy absorption?
The destroyers!"
Oh, the destroyers. Using the hakai.
As right in front of him now, stretched over a line, are the 5 gods of destruction that Vegito had absorbed. Kitella, Beerus, Belmod, Chomper and Topo included. But the worst was still to come. Hakai!
Oh, with the god destruction with the hakai.
Was still to come.
All said
Hakai!
hakai.
As immediately the reason their hands were stretched out becomes clear, as simultaneously all of them release the call of the destroyers at full power straight down onto the helplessly trapped swordsman.
Yep.
What? Even the destroyers are under his control? As the sight of the chosen destroyers by Zeno himself being commanded by a mortal sends shivers down his spine. No! As not too soon after, under the might of 5 destroyers Hakai, his very own body begins to erase right before his eyes.
Okay.
Even the strength of their destructive energy is intact. This is truly their power. As he becomes shocked at the confirmation that these are indeed no simple clones. But with this revelation, only anger fills the noble swordsman, as he then says, forcing me to annihilate the angels of the Grand Priest is one thing, but now making me lift my finger against the gods themselves? You will pay for this, Vegito.
Oh, but he's not fighting with the hakai.
As suddenly the swordsman lifts his sword
He's not
wildly in the
afraid of the
air.
hakai, so I think
it becomes
the
coated
hakai of the
with
gods
very
even
familiar
will
purple
affect him
energy
that
of
much
his
or
own.
something. I don't know. He could just
Blade of
erase.
Destruction!
No, just crushing.
And just like that, in yet another single swipe, the swordsman sends back the hakai energy striking his body, back at the destroyers themselves, and with such force, it erases them near instantly, as the warrior just whispers under his breath, "Forgive me."
I've never felt so close to the possibility of disclosure. The Nephilim.
Oh, Vegito's shocked.
This move,
Destroyers,
much like the one that took the
angels are now
angels
over.
out just as easily,
So what
finally breaks
can Vegito do?
as his hands drop, and with a look of pure disbelief, he begins internally reflecting. He can wield the power of Hakai too! He can outspeed the ultra instinct of the angels, and he took them all out in a matter of seconds. After everything I've been through, all the hardships, all those battles, have I truly been outclassed this much by some random freak?
Yeah, if he is just with one of the 5 strongest has now been outclassed, how can if all 5 battle? If the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and even the 1st of the 5 strongest battle?
No, I refuse
Vegito is so weak in comparison to this guy alone.
to believe this.
With all the god of destructions, with all the angels, he thought after he absorbed them, he'll be enough to face the Grand Priest with the Majin and everything, but now it's just all over.
As behind Vegito in his mind, a medley of all the progress and battles he had until this point flash before his eyes. Meanwhile though, the Dark Swordsman, now having dismantled the gods, just jumps up into the air, landing on the ground with a thud, his erased body returning back to normal as he then once again stamps his massive sword right back down into the ground, as if the earth was his very own sheath.
Okay.
And now, staring at the God Killer with an unbridled look, he lets out coldly, "You. Never in all my life have I ever met a mortal with such disdain, such impudence, and disrespect for the Creator. Beings such as yourself should not exist in this plane.
Okay.
The demon realm is the only place where your kind can remain trapped.
Okay.
And I will be the one to send you there, demon!" As his face suddenly then shifts to one of pure emotion and anger, his wide, yelling mouth almost even becoming visible under his mask as he swipes his blade back, ready to swing, as the sword itself suddenly becomes engulfed in an aura of its own, including black lightning that spontaneously bursts forth all around it. "Demon! The only demons here are those you work for, you slave!"
Yeah.
As totally enraged and incensed by his foe's words, Vegito is quick to angrily yell back, "I'm the one who had everything taken from me! Millions upon millions of lives erased at the blink of an eye! And if those are your masters, then you too will share the same fate!" As immediately, Vegito's true full power begins to emerge
With the Zamasu, yeah.
the Zamasu halo he
With the Zamasu
gained from
halo.
fusing with black, now reappearing on his back, as his right arm begins to become coated in a sinister dark aura too, until within the palm of his hands, a staff of energy appears right within his palm. Could it be some kind of angel staff? No. Call me the Grim Reaper, because this planet will be your grave, swordsman. as Vegito, with a massive grin and overflowing with sinister energy, reveals within his hand the Godslayer scythe,
Not
modeled
God
exactly after
Slayer
Goku
blade.
Black's own, making Vegito now the true bringer of death. Come here, slave boy! As Vegito, now full of confidence, with all three of the Saiyans within him being utilized,
Yeah, with all Goku, Vegeta, and Goku Black, using the Zamasu Halo and the sight and everything.
shoots forth with speed straight at the mystery warrior, beckoning him to do the same. Gladly! Which of course, the swordsman, having been confident the entire way through the chapter, kindly obliges, rushing in once again with his gigantic sword coated in energy in tow. And thunderously, their chosen weapons then clash head on. But they aren't colliding for long before the swordsman rotates his body like an elegant ballerina and prepares for yet another swift attack. This time crashing on the ground as the unprepared
Crushing
Vegito
Vegito.
just narrowly dodges out of the way in time. Or at least, we thought. Since as once we get a fuller image of Vegito in the aftermath, his right arm shows a gashing wound leaking with blood. As Vegito, who already seems tired from the exchange, says, "Damn it, I'm not used to fighting with weapons. This freak must be some kind of sword master. Those moves are far from natural." Before looking down to inspect his wound, he continues, "That thing is no butter knife either. I'm fully powered up, and he still managed to slice my skin with the slightest of grazes. I need to be careful here. Otherwise, I might just have to visit Dr. Gero again."
Yeah.
Well, if I can't win by outclassing you up close, then show me how you deal with this!
Okay.
As Vegito then instantly begins powering up in his hand an energy beam in response. A type of attack to this point in the story this swordsman had displayed no usage of, and Vegito knew it. Cut this, freak! Immediately tossing the high-powered energy ball that from the looks of it is designed to explode on impact no matter what it touches. But the opposing warrior, not taking the bait, as if utilizing Ultra Instinct, dodges to the side instantly, as the vicious beam shoots right past him. But at the same ridiculous speed as he showed against the Angels, within nanoseconds, before the beam had even completely gone past him, he reappears right behind the stunned Vegeta,
this is not good.
already in position to strike again, letting out, "You underestimate the power of the 5 strongest, mortal. A mistake you will soon regret."
Okay,
But
Vegito
Vegito,
gone.
not one to be one-upped, immediately then displays his own speed, vanishing at the very last second. Reappearing miles away in the distance, perhaps in hopes of creating some space. But with the swordsman already noticing him, he lets out ominously, "Running away already, are you, demon?"
Lezatnya Nutella dan butiran gandum empuk dibalut.
Okay, this is getting interesting. I want to see the continuation.
Back down on the ground! Immediately appearing within seconds with inexplicable speed yet again, and slamming his fist right onto the unprepared God Killer.
Okay.
Leaving Vegeta to crash land on the ground right on his backside, with now so much goky now used, his scythe and halo even disappeared. as the injured Vegito comments, How is he moving like that? It's like he's using instant transmission, but even faster than I can even react. The 5 strongest. Do they really surpass even Ultra Instinct? Eventually then getting onto one knee, raising his bruised body up with what's left of his strength as he continues. Even with all the energy of the gods, the angels, Black and the power of the margin seal, I can't keep up with him at all. That sword, could his power be linked to it somehow? He hasn't let go of it once. But almost as if the blade hurt him, it once again in classic style is stabbed into the ground. As the swordsman, still holding tight onto the handle as Vegito had noticed, then goads him. Give it up already, scum. In these weak universes, you may have convinced yourself of being powerful. Slaughtering these second-class gods and angels. But you fail to realize the difference between gods and those that came even before them. There are levels to this game, mortal, and you're barely past the tutorial stage.
My god, barely
I've seen children more powerful than you.
Children, man, children. I've seen children more powerful than you in my time. Children.
You in my time. What did you say?
Children
This
more
speech,
powerful than
however,
Vegito,
does
man.
nothing more than fuel Vegito's anger even more, as he grips his fist tightly and yells back with Saiyan pride, "Shut up with your lies! The things I've gone through, the power I've attained! You are no match for me, let alone the priest and that toddler! I refuse to believe it, and if you keep pushing me, you and this entire multiverse will find yourselves at the foot of a power that will haunt you forever!"
Okay.
But unfazed by any of these threats, the swordsman just pulls out his sword once again with force and screams back,
Okay.
"Enough with your insolence! You are nothing but a deluded insect in a world full of giants! Your story ends here and now!"
Okay.
As in a completely unexpected move, the first of the 5 strongest then tosses his own sword with unprecedented speed, as it shoots off straight for Vegito, looking more like an energy beam than solid objects. But despite everything the first had said, in the end, Vegito just in the nick of time would be able to move and dodge completely from the blade's path, as it shoots past, with no sign of stopping anytime soon. This development leaving the God Killer with a smile, as Vegito then perhaps prematurely says, "You see, that's what happens when you underestimate me. Now you have no sword and... What? But just as fast as the sword was thrown, so too does Vegito's facial expression turn to one of pure astonishment, as his eyes burst open wide along with his mouth, unable to say any more. And right in front of him again, with that miraculous speed, the black swordsman appears within touching distance of the God Killer.
Oh.
Instantly though, Vegito snaps back into action, and the two titans then clash together, one fist clasped by the other on either side, as both spew black lightning from each of their bodies, at first looking solidly into each other's eyes at a deadlock until, with a rageful change in expression, Vegito tenses his muscles and shouts, "So, now you think you can test my power without that little dagger of yours? I thought I told you not to underestimate me, but but I guess you weren't listening.
Okay.
Bow down to me! As immediately with no more words to be said,
Ooh.
both Vegito and the armored warrior yell at the top of their voices, as each becomes surrounded in an almighty aura. And from a distance, just the standstill of the two struggling
What
creates
happens
a
with the Z
concentrated
fighters,
mass of
man? Oh my
energy,
god, the Z
so
fighters
large and
watch
so
a
powerful,
a
it
battle
would
like
erase
this?
any and
Oh my
everything
God.
that would dare come close to its vicinity.
I just
But
said.
of course, still in the background, utterly powerless to do a thing, Goku and the Z Fighters carry on watching as their very planet rips apart. As Goku comments, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
Just their auras are doing all this. If this keeps up, the Earth will be done for. But while the Supreme Kai is in a similar state of shock and awe, he would just think, This is unbelievable. What should I do? Would Beerus even be able to do anything to these two?
What beerus? How can you beerus? That is the apparition of beerus. Just one strike. Even with all the 5 gods. Like what will just one beerus do?
But as the Z Fighters watch on, back with the God Killer, a stunning development has been made. As finally, the
Vegito is winning against one of the 5 strongest.
stalemate has seemingly been broken.
The one of
And
the
the
5
swordsman,
strongest
with
is
what looks like a panicked
like
look on his face,
Lucy.
is forced somehow onto one knee. Of course, all the while, a smiling Vegito continues to push down as he yells, Yes, like I told you, bow down to me!
Super 8 Lifestyle Great
He
Sale
is getting
9 September
whipped.
2022.
There's only one strategy. Vegito is holding his power all this time. Or what happened?
And
I
now,
don't know.
absolutely brimming with arrogance and
Or
confidence.
when he touches, he absorbs. The energy will absorb.
After proving himself that he is in fact stronger than the so-called 5 strongest, Vegito, with a truly demonic smile, would then let out, I told you! I truly told you! Just as much as Gohan told Cell. Once you pushed me, there would be no going back! There are no limits for us Saiyans, and your energy is now
Oh, what? He's crushed.
But just as things finally began turning up good for Vegito, suddenly, from behind, a certain sharp object seemingly slices the preoccupied
The side.
and still gripped by his foe,
The
Vegeta.
side. Oh, not the side. The sword.
Overpower me! Get real! Leading to the swordsman, then letting go of the paralyzed Vegito, before then jumping straight into the air to catch his flying sword. The same object that just pierced right through the God Killer. And at first, there is no reaction, but as soon as the handle is grabbed, in some of the most brutal and
my
bloody
God.
scenes of the entire series, the aftermath of the attack is finally seen.
Oh my
With
God.
Vegito cut through perfectly through not only his stomach, but also through his right arm also.
Oh my
A
God.
stunned look on his face as his body parts begin to separate due
This
to
like
gravity,
a
with
Kai.
him just muttering,
But this time it's not a cut. It's cut.
You got me! How? Before the slam, simultaneously his severed arm and torso fall to the ground, while his spurting with blood lower half just drops to its knees. And with his chin now dug into the dirt, the still completely gobsmacked faced Vegito, laced with adrenaline in shock, leaves him muttering nonsensically, This can't be the end! I'm afraid it is God Killer. But the swordsman, not letting up with his now absolute humiliation of Vegito, then looking down at his prey would say, "You truly thought so much of yourself to believe even as a lowly mortal, you could overpower one of the five. And it's that overconfidence and naivety that will lead to your demise here. You have lived for decades, while us higher beings have survived for millennia. You could have never reached our level, let alone that of the Daishinkan. And now, I must be the one to dirty my blade with your wretched blood." Before the armored foe would then walk closer to the downed Vegito and immediately lift his sword above his head and right in line with Vegito's neck, ready to finish the God Killer in the most gruesome of ways, while Vegito, trying to clutch onto any way to survive, would yell, "No! No! My time rings! I'll be back! I have 7 lives!" To which the swordsman, still holding his sword, would just coldly respond, "Do you really believe that? Or have you conveniently forgotten that I chopped that hand of yours too? There's no coming back from this one. No plot armor, no arch to save this one." What? My hand! No! Stop! Leaving Vegito to yell one final time in vain before...
Boom.
Die, God Killer! But that was it for today's video, guys. If you made it this far, leave me a hashtag don't die in the comments down below and let me know how you think Vegito survives this one.
Oh my god. Arj is just... There's no way he lost. He has to go through all 4 of them. Not the Grand Prix and Zeno. Oh my... Yeah, original characters being introduced. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. We need Vegeta to survive this. I want to see him go through everyone. I want to see him fight the Grand Prix and Zeno. This can't end like this. Yeah, I already said so, right? Okay, let's just go straight. It's kinda spoil me from the title, but fine, let's just go.
Delmonte cuy boba, seru banget.
Don't forget.
Oh my god,
Head there
this
after
is
the
just
video.
getting crazy.
So our story continues with the still unnamed mysterious swordsman, prone and posed, ready with his sword still above his head, ready to behead Vegito in one fell swoop. But before he does so, he has something to say. God Killer, before you go, before you leave this realm forever, tell me, is there anything you'd like to say? Any final words to utter out into the cosmos? Words of regret, words of anger. Say them now, and I shall remember them, even if nobody else will. To which the now seemingly at peace with the situation, but grumbling Vegito would then reply, "Last words, huh? You couldn't get any more corny if you tried, Iron Man. I don't even know your name. Just that you're part of this so-called 5 strongest. And that no matter what I did, I couldn't beat you. What final words does someone that pathetic need to say? Just be done with it already. To which the Black Swordsman would then respond,
Oh, okay.
though you are correct, even with that blasphemous power you
you
stole,
stole.
you were no match for me. You were still far stronger at least than expected.
Oh, okay.
You have earned the right to know my name in your final moments, warrior.
Okay.
My name is Guts.
God.
First of the 5 strongest. Guts! The hearing of this name sparks moderate interest in Vegito for some reason, as he briefly lets out, that name, it sounds
What?
familiar.
It sounds familiar.
Guts. I will remember that. Maybe one day we can fight again. But the still professional and stone-cold executioner, not interested in comforting the god killer in any way, would then just respond, not in 1 billion years, Vegito. Once I slaughter you here, you will enjoy the other world for less than a second, before I erase you myself from existence. You and I will never meet again, and nor will you ever get to see the Grand Priest or Zeno. You've caused untold damage to this multiverse already. 9 of the 12 universes no longer even have gods or angels to watch over them now. And us members of the strongest will now have to be called in to take their place temporarily. Before the scene shifts to Vegito's severed hand, and the swordsman continues. And not to mention what lunacy you created in all these timelines you should have never entered. All things must be corrected, and yet again, it will fall to us and the Time Patrol to fix things. I hope you enjoyed your little joyride, but you finally run out of gas. As in a tempered but reserved laugh, knowing still that his time was over, Vegito, trying to make light of the situation, would then say, did I really cause that much trouble? Funny, I hadn't noticed. Well, it was a good ride. But hey, at least it took the best of the 5 strongest to take me down in the end. As a Saiyan, my pride can't help but be pleased with that. I heard from Whis once, even the priest was a part of the fight. So if I'd just beaten you, he would have been done for too. No. But almost as if not able to let Vegito die with his fallacies, Guts looks down and reveals coldly, you couldn't be further from the truth. And honestly, it's too pathetic to watch you go on and not correct you. The 5 strongest in the multiverse used to contain the Daishinkan,
now no.
but no longer does. I am the first, and by that, I mean I am the...
I'm the first and I mean I'm the weakest. So there's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Not even the Daishinkan is in the 5.
Weakest. All 4 above me surpass my power. And the Daishinkan, he exists even further beyond than that. No!
Vegeta is shocked to even cannot fight, cannot win against the weakest of the 5 strongest, and Daishinkan is above that. How can he hope to ever win then?
As suddenly the painful realization of the reality of the matter strikes Vegito at force, as his own weakness in the grand scheme of things is then spread out right before him. In a state of complete denial, he mutters, that can't be true! But why can't I sense any hesitation in your voice? I trained so long. I made the destroyers and angels look like playthings. You're telling me I was still so far below Zeno and the Grand Priest? No! What was this all for then? Silence! You've said enough, God Killer! As Guts, no longer willing to wait any longer, grips his blade tight and then... With the ferocity and anger of all the gods and angels Vegito had slain, Guts then swipes his blade, head on now, straight for the God Killer's neck, with this time no looking back.
Boo.
What?
Okay.
But just as he reaches
What?
mid-swing, something
What?
catches
What?
Guts'
What?
eye from behind that he just cannot ignore. What is that? As unbelievably out of
Ooh.
nowhere, the Margin Boo we had all completely forgotten
Oh, the Majin Buu. It's absorbing guts. I think this is Vegito's scheme. He's talking what? It's because he is using the Kid Buu, using the Buu to absorb, and then after he absorbed to him, and then he gets the regenerative power of Buu, and he can regenerate, and he can win.
about rises as a wave of pink goo.
But before he battled Guts, Vegeta hasn't had the time to absorb the Buu. So how is he controlling the Buu suddenly?
Right behind Guts,
Through his
ready
eyes.
to make one of the 5 strongest his own. Which all happens so fast, mid-swing, Guts instantly vanishes, saving himself from whatever this stranger with Goky was. Boo! Leaving Vegito also
Oh,
shocked.
you're right. Buu? It's not Vegito, it's Buu.
But unable to process yet
So it's not Vegito's doing, it's
whether this
Buu's
was a
doing.
good thing or a bad thing. But with Boo missing the first, he instead slams onto the body of the downed Ultra Vegito. His torso, severed legs, and hand included, as it seems Vegito may have just fell to an even worse fate in the end. No! As in the end, slowly but surely, all of Vegito then becomes one with Boo, as his lifeless legs move further and further into the
He
pink
absorbs.
goo.
Vegeta.
Eventually, we see high in the air where Guts had reappeared, far and away from any danger as he stares down at the pink vicious mess on the ground in confusion. As he looks on disgusted, he thinks to himself, what just happened? What was that? A creature from this planet? Impossible. Its key felt divine, ancient, like it had been around even before my time.
Oh, yep.
And now what? It seems to be feeding on the God Killer. Did it just steal my kill? Before soon enough, we all observe as the mass of pink goo condenses down into what seems like a small circle. Too small to be fitting the entirety of Vegito's body. And the swordsman, too, watching from above, also makes his own deductions as he says, It actually appears that whatever that thing is, it is killing him. I can sense Vegito's life force fading away quickly. Sorry, God Killer, but it seems karma predestined you a fate even more gruesome than I had intended. How fitting. The same planet you fought to avenge is the same on which you will die. My job here is done, even if I didn't manage to retrieve those time rings. And Guts, thinking he has eliminated his target, just as the Grand Priest had requested, he then begins flying further into the air, before totally turning his body and flying off back from wherever he first came. Just thinking, that God Killer, his power was something else.
Okay.
To think mortals could not only possess God Ki,
See.
but find a way to take it from true gods too. But as Guts leaves, a new development begins back with Boo as the blob begins to move. Before then rising up slowly into a human-sized statue of pink sludge.
Oh.
Until finally, a pair of familiar feet and familiar gloves then reaches out of the goo.
Oh, so
as if the
Vegito.
goo itself was formulating the figure.
Oh, so the Boo is absorbing Vegito.
As shockingly, in the aftermath of everything, once the pink goo had fully molded itself, Majin Buu finally appears once again,
He absorbed Ultra Vegito.
now unbelievably clad in Vegito's full gi. Gloves and footwear all repaired, at first seeming his usual dead silent self until...
Yeah, he's happy because he absorbed Vegito.
Boo won! I told you! You should have never messed with me, human! As the new Ultra Boo then suddenly bursts out in a maniacal laugh that not only fits what we once knew of Boo in the original timeline, but of course, that of Ultra Vegito too. Whoa! Boo's back! Did he just absorb the other guy? Gosh, I wonder how strong he is now.
Yup.
Leaving Goku from far away, shocked at what he's seeing, with a hint of sane curiosity over his strength. Wow! Kakarot! This isn't good, you clown! He was out of our league already! But now if he has that other one's power too! While the Supreme Kai, who is far more fearful and full of dread over the situation than anyone else, just steps back whispering, "No, it's too late. I failed as Supreme Kai. Not even beerus can beat this Boo now. I let it happen. We need to leave." What now?
Oh, the first of
As
the five
finally the
strongest
swordsman
detectives.
is last to react to the loud roar and power of the new Boo, as he then realizes, wait a minute, this energy is the same as the God Killers. No, it's even greater!
Yeah.
Immediately then vanishing, and then reappearing back on the ground confidently before the powered up Boo.
Yep.
Boo, noticing himself the swordsman, which he knows to be no pushover, then immediately returns to quiet, though Black Lightning continues to surround him along with his monstrous new aura. Then inquiring, what do you want? You want to fight Boo too? To which the cold as ice Guts would say back, well, that depends. Boo is your name, you say?
Okay.
Tell me who you
are.
Because that key you possess is not something from this low-level planet. And most importantly, tell me if you're a danger to this universe. Because if so, I will have to end you.
Okay.
Meeting di majuin dadakan butuh yang
So,
fresh.
what will Boo do now? And so now change to Ultra Vegeta to Ultra Boo series?
But hearing this in almost classic Godkiller style, the new Boo begins to chuckle, but not for the reasons we'd expect, as he says with a smile, finally, someone on this planet who hasn't got violence on their mind 24/7.
So he loved reason.
I am no danger to this planet, let alone universe. Boo seek peace, quiet, and food. Now, if that is all settled, I will see you, But for
what?
some reason, Boo's peaceful speech is then instantly cut short as he looks to the sky with wide eyes as if his body is frozen in place. Oh! No! Not you again!
Oh.
As he yells
Vegito from the
loudly,
inside.
still in the same position.
Vegito in the
Until we peer deep within the confines of Boo.
Yeah, it's Vegito want to control Boo.
To his inner workings and finally find Ultra Vegito.
Yeah, Ultra Vegito inside is absorbed.
Of course, trapped within the body of Boo, unconscious and encased in a thick, meaty, brain-like pod that resembles.
This is the way Vegito can survive. Because he is absorbed by Boo, he'll take control from the inside and he'll gain the Boo. And that's why, and that's how, he can survive and finally attain the perfect immortality from Boo.
A strange Scotch egg. And as we zoom in on his uncharacteristically calm face, we see though he is completely silent, he remains in his final form until... Within a flash, Ultra Vegito the God Killer opens his eyes once more, with his signature sound of his black eye ringing through. No! Stop it! And once more the new Majin Buu is left to react in confusion again until... The creature screams to the heavens themselves.
If Boo were not to absorb Vegito, Vegito will really die there. But because Boo absorbed, Vegito is survive.
In intense pain, as if he is being murdered from the inside. As he then suddenly slams his own hands onto his face in terror, as if trying his best to stop something exploding outwards.
Yep.
Immediately in the process of doing this, Ultra Buu releases a flurry of energy once more. So much so, it even momentarily blows back the first. Until eventually, looking on with a puzzled look, Guts thinks, what now?
Oh, okay.
What's happening to this thing? This power level is reaching dangerous levels. It's reminding me of...
Vegito.
But as Guts thinks deeply on what's happening before his eyes, Ultra Buu's arms finally drop down as his groans quieten down. Whatever was happening to him has finally stopped, but just what was the result? Well, hello there.
Oh, with Vegito is back because Vegito gained control over Boo.
Funny seeing you again, Guts! As shockingly,
Yeah,
it is
Vegito is
finally
back.
revealed that Ultra Buu had then morphed into a spitting image
Ultra Boo has become Vegito.
of Vegito himself, complete with his voice and personality. But how? His margin symbol even missing, as Vegito now becomes a literal margin.
He becomes a literal Majin with all eyes are black, full Boo. So this time, if he were to cut off, he can just regenerate whenever he wants. Because he is Boo.
As Vegito now becomes a literal margin.
Yup.
You're back! How? Causing even the normally cool and collected swordsman to stumble back in absolute disbelief. As he questions further, why are you back in one piece? Why are you fully healed?
Because he is Boo.
Where is Boo? Leaving the God Killer to just giggle in classic style as he then begins to finally explain. Well, it's simple, Mr. First of the Five Strongest. Boo is...
Inside me.
Boo is me now.
Boo is me.
Just as Babadi's Margin Seal had no effect on controlling me, so did Margin Boo's.
Yeah, Majin Buu attempt at making me part of him now backfired that now me is controlling Buu.
Attempt at making me a part of him. My willpower alone turned the tables.
Yup.
And now Boo is a part of me. How ridiculous! I knew I should have taken that blob out. Leading to Guts immediately swinging his blade up in anger as he continues. Take as many beings as you want into you. If this job is not done yet, then I'll simply just do it again.
But this time it's not easy. Cutting Vegito can just regenerate, but he's fully Buu now.
As without warning, Guts, with
He's fully
pinpoint precision
Buu now.
and intense
He can
speed,
regenerate, he is
slices
immortal.
through Vegito once again. In almost the exact same fashion, and once again, Vegito is left in 2 pieces.
He is fully Buu.
No!
He's no again. It's just to fake out Guts.
Not again!
Not again, ha ha ha. Because he is full Buu, so he can just regenerate now.
Just kidding. As in a sudden, inexplicable shift of tone and mannerisms,
He can regenerate.
Vegito begins smiling dastardly and without pain, despite visibly having just
Cut.
been cut in half.
Because he is fully Buu.
What a glorious
Yeah, glorious ability. So he doesn't need the time rings anymore. He doesn't have any lives, 7 lives or anything, because the Buu has the regenerative ability.
ability this Boo has. Utterly amazing. As unbelievably we then get to see the true confirmation of what Vegito had said
this is what
about
I
becoming
want.
Boo himself.
This is what I want, the ability I thought the Eye of the Buu has. But now it's finally confirmed, not the Eyes has, but after he absorbed Buu, he got the ability.
As almost immediately, flakes of pink goo begin bridging the 2 parts of Vegito's body, regenerating him instantly as if he was never cut in the first place.
This key is the key he'll get to win against all
Belanja
the
harian bebas
strongest.
ribet,
Because
pasti dibeli
everything
bebas.
they do, unless they...
I don't care what you're
don't
doing,
know,
you need to
unless
stop
they-
and listen to this interview.
Unless they hakai, maybe they can win against Vegito, or else he won't win because whatever you do, you strike, you what, he can just regenerate.
What sorcery is this? God Killer, what are you? But his yelling contempt is in
Plus adding it Buu, adding with his energy, his new energy, I mean the Ultra Vegito, and the Buu that contain Ultra Vegito, so like 2 times Ultra Vegito plus Buu inside, like man, so he's fighting like 2 Ultra Vegitos plus 1 Buu plus regenerative plus all the techniques, all the everything with the magic the Buu has. We know Kid Buu is not so smart. We know Majin Buu is kind of smart, using turning candy, blah blah blah. But what if the magic Majin ability are utilizes to the fullest by Vegito? That is his new arsenal, and he can win against the strongest that way. Maybe.
interrupted with
But let's
lightning
just see
speed
the next
as
one.
Vegito finally lands a punch on the swordsman, even wielding a smile as he says, I think I'm just about done listening to your screams,
Please, mister.
mister. I think it's high time you went
Went
to
to
sleep. As immediately, with just that simple jab, the power it unleashes sends the legendary first of the 5 strongest crashing through multiple mountains to a thunderous collision.
If Vegito can win, Vegito can absorb the 5 strongest. I think the story of Call Me ARJ of this Ultra Vegito series will continue directly. to second, third, fourth, fifth Grand Prix Zeno. It will not continue to weigh on the remaining gods anymore because yeah, Vegito know it will be full tile anyway. I mean, like, even the first strongest can just strike the God of Destructions and Angel so easily. So it wouldn't mean anything if he were to absorb them. So he might as well go to the strongest, and then he can absorb them if he wins. So this will be getting interesting. But let's just see
Against
for
the
now
final.
what we got.
Once again alarming the totally cease in disbelief Supreme Kai, who lets out, That's a Saiyan? He just landed an attack on one of the five! That can't be possible. It said even the Grand Priest considers them near his level. As when we return back to Guts, he lies sat with his sword stabbed into the ground, having used it to forcefully stop him flying any further back.
Okay.
As he then thinks, his power and speed.
Yeah.
This is on a whole new level than before. But why? Just what was that creature from before?
But why? I have explained it to you just now, I think. I think that's the way, the simple way. I don't know whether ARJ and have another concept behind, but I think that's the simple way to think. The Vegito, after being given full energy by Kibito, that's 1. The Buu, 2. The old energy of Vegito that is being absorbed by the 2 henchmen, the Spavovich, that is being stored into Buu, which means it's Ultra Vegito all full power energy, is 3. And now the 3 is become 1 into the new Vegito. That's why it's like amazing. The power is beyond Ultra Vegito previously. Why? Because this 2 Ultra Vegito plus Buu into 1 man.
4. Why has it made such a difference? It's almost like his power has been multiplied. But whatever this is, I cannot let him touch me again. That will be the last of his demonic hands dirtying my being.
Okay.
Dirtying your being? When was the last time you even washed that armor, you pile of junk? As suddenly, an extremely familiar and witty voice we all know calls from afar. And of course, when Guts finally does turn around, it is revealed to be none other than Ultra Vegito standing behind on a distant mountaintop.
Okay.
Quickly, Guts in response then jumps back to gain further distance and survey the situation better. Before internally he thinks, his presence, I can hardly detect it now. His speed, it's so fast, I can never tell where he is at any one time anymore. Something has happened to him. Did he truly become what he warned me of? But as we zoom in closer, we see the Saiyan standing tall with his arms folded and looking down smugly saying, "Oh, you poor fool. I bet your mind can hardly compute what's going on now, can it? It's simple, really, though. I am not the same man you fought earlier. I am now the most powerful Buu in history. I've tossed away my humanity in order to kill the likes of you and your damn leader. Not the biggest leap, though, after becoming part android. But for the sake of delivering justice, I will do anything."
Okay.
Before the more wide smile, he continues on, "Tremble, for I am no longer this feeble mortal you gods love to keep calling me. I am something far scarier. A monster. A thing of nightmares
nice.
that will now add you to my collection of souls.
Okay.
Come here and give me your energy, swordsman. As Vegito then slowly lifts up one finger in what looks like a very familiar scene to OG Dragon Ball Z fans.
Okay.
And then immediately coats the finger in its very own aura as he goads the legendary warrior. Accept your fate, Guts. Just try and slice me up. You will see firsthand just how large the gap between us is.
He will use on the one hand this like the scene from Goku and Trunks. Goku just use one hand and Trunks is just slicing.
Now, and all I'll need is this
just
one finger to stop you. What? This total disrespect, of course, not going down well at all with Guts as he stands astonished at Vegito's incidents after only just minutes earlier being on the foot of death. As he yells, "One finger! This damn demon now thinks so little of me to bluff so sparingly. How dare you! I shall show you why the Blade of Destruction is feared even by the demons!" Immediately rushing in at the still overconfident Vegito, while Vegito just stands motionless with a smile commenting, "Feared by the demons, you say? What an interesting tidbit of information, my friend." Until finally, Guts swings his blade with full might, but unbelievably, with a metallic clang, Vegito does indeed stop the blade with just his finger alone. And on, not believing this to be possible, Guts would try his luck over and over, chopping away at Vegito as the God Killer moves his finger in synchronicity, blocking each and every swipe.
Yep.
Impossible! Eventually leaving the tired from fatigue Guts to just finally stop and stare, not being able to even comprehend what is even happening now, as he thinks,
oh my god, Vegito is just getting stronger and stronger, man. Like, amazing.
"This is the Blade of Destruction! One of the legendary demon emperors resides within this sword! How could a mortal so easily withstand such a weapon?" But Vegito, now taking his own turn, is quick to already cock back his own right fist and striking the swordsman square in the chest. Sending Guts flying back as a result, as the impact makes itself shown. As the callous Vegito, filled with ominous aura, would then say, "A legendary demon emperor within that sword? What an interesting thing to say. And you believe for some reason these demon emperors would have some effect on me? I don't know how strong those things are supposed to be, but a possible explanation for why they don't affect me is because now I too am a demon." As Vegito, with a truly frightening look, then lets out a chilling line, just like he did once before, and yet again, as he says this playful joke, behind him, the silhouette of what looks like a true devil-formed creature appears right behind him. Demon! Instantly shell-shocking Guts like never before, as he stays stunned with his eyes wide open, and he begins to mutter, "No, this feeling I'm getting, it cannot be. This mortal, is he the second coming of Lucifer?
Second coming of
For the
Lucifer.
sake of Zeno, no, for the sake of the entire multiverse, I must stop him here and now!
The second coming of Lucifer. So what is Lucifer?
Giving the Black Swordsman no choice now but to unleash his maximum power. Unleashing a truly godly amount of ki and power that we had never seen the likes of. Far beyond any angel and any destroyer could even dream of. As somehow the Earth manages to contain it without exploding. From a distance, all we can see is a massive beam of ki shooting into space, as waves and waves of thunderous wind and debris blow all over the island. While Vegito, now losing his smile and looking on seriously as he respects what he sees, then comments, "So, he's finally showing his true power. The power of the 5 strongest. This will be my greatest test yet."
Okay.
And just like that, as if they were on a time limit, the two monstrous warriors rush in at each other to give the universe a battle of more power than it had ever seen since the dawn of creation. As Vegito, covered in his signature black lightning, launches with fury in his eyes, while Guts, now almost ripping his mask as his teeth are bared, screams as he shoots towards the God Killer. But Vegito starts off the exchange throwing an energy beam straight at Guts while he rushes forward. This again, I'll just dodge it again and...
Boom.
But as the beam finally reaches him, Guts finds himself forcefully having to deflect it with his blade, as the fragmented parts shoot behind him to create explosions in the background. Inside thinking, damn it, even his energy blasts are far more powerful and intense than before. I have to fight everything head on now. And with that said, Guts continues his forward assault, massive sword in hand and conviction on his mind to end the God Killer once and for all. All the while, Vegito already begins preemptively shifting his body backwards. But as we see multiple after images of Guts' arm and sword slicing in all directions trying to get a stab at the God Killer, so too do we see multiple after images of a smiling Vegito too, effortlessly dodging every swipe as if dodging attacks from Yamcha.
Oh my god. Vegeta is getting stronger and stronger. Oh my gosh, guys.
Why won't you die already? And eventually, as more and more of Guts' efforts go unrewarded, he finally resorts to pure rage, as his muscles visibly bulk up with veins protruding on his biceps. With a terrifying yell, brings down his sword harshly one final time. As instantly, despite the monstrous pulling down on the sharp-edged blade, it stops right in front of Vegito, stone cold and not moving an inch closer to cutting through the God Killer. Is that all? Maybe this was a butter knife after all. As Vegito is then chillingly revealed to have stopped the entire force of the blade with just his bare hands alone. Still smiling and not with a single sweat broken. My turn! But done with the humiliation, Vegito finally showcases his own power and speed. And instantly, with a foot that rises out of nowhere, Guts is uppercutted straight into the sky. And as soon as he does so, Vegito begins powering yet another surprise, as within his right hand, the God Slayer energy blade is engaged once more before... In a shocking sight, Vegito then slices straight through the sword-wielding arm of Guts. With such speed, precision, and unexpected surprise,
So he cut
even the Black
Guts' hand.
Swordsman is left watching for a moment, completely taken by shock until...
Boom.
What?
His
What
hand.
have you done, demon? As
His
finally
hand.
the pain and horror of the situation hits the legendary member of the Five. Probably the first in history he would ever have to draw blood, and one of the only times he would forcibly be separated from his divine blade. No! My blade of destruction! I had no choice. I must wield it with my weaker arm now! As finally the hand begins to separate from Guts' body, automatically opening its clasp, simultaneously freeing the sword, while Guts in the same moment desperately attempts to grab it with his last remaining arm.
Okay.
And eventually, the legendary sword is caught once again, firm and safely.
But by Ultra Vegito.
But unfortunately not by Guts, and instead by our hero, Ultra Vegito the God Killer, as he comments, "Whoa, this is a heavy one, even heavier than the Z sword. No! Give that back now! You will pay 1,000-fold if you take even one swing of that blade! I warn you! You have no idea what lurks within!" Leaving the damaged Guts to grab onto his bleeding stump of an arm while yelling in complete panic at Vegito. But the God Killer, totally unfazed and disregarding Guts' pleas, just swings the blade down and says, "What lurks within, huh? You did mention something about a demon emperor, didn't you? Well, hopefully, just like the Z-sword, once I break this thing in half, slamming it on your forehead, maybe this little devil will come out for me. Because Lord knows, I need a new challenge after facing a weakling like you." Huh? When did you... And suddenly, just as soon as Vegito had said this, as if using instant transmission without a hand sign, Vegito suddenly then appears right in front of Guts, face to face, as the God Killer lets out, "Sorry if this makes you feel uncomfortable. I just wanted to see the fear in your eyes before I kill you." And for a moment, there is a deathly silence as neither side moves. One not moving due to being so paralyzed in fear, while the other doesn't make a move in an act of intimidation until... Blade of Destruction! Vegito with his mouth wide open then yells out the words only previously uttered by Guts, activating the destroyer powers of the sword and... Immediately then making perfect use of the sword he just stole, effortlessly swiping in all directions, but perfectly slicing through 4 particular spots.
Oh. The head, torso, I think? Or what? He cut Guts.
As in the aftermath, we then see where those spots were, as in a horrific scene with blood-curdling screams. Guts, the master swordsman, a legendary member of the Five, has both his arms and legs cut off
Vegito left the head and the body.
all by his own beloved sword. As with a look of pure astonishment, he can only mutter as the blood pours out. My sword, what have you done? While each of his cut-off limbs under the power of the Blade of Destruction, immediately then begin to erase, also
from
one
existence.
by one. In the end though, Vegeta does not give his victim so much as a glance, as he stares into the stolen sword and says, "Not bad, not bad at all. Seems this blade can not only repel destruction power, but it can wield it too. Thanks for the gift, my friend. You're too kind. But there's one more thing I
He
want
wants
to
to
take
take the
from you.
energy.
I hope you don't mind."
He wants to take
As
his
Vegeta
energy.
then slowly but surely begins taking measured steps toward the burst. As Guts, now flat on the ground, helpless, just murmurs,
But now, Vegeta with Goo, he don't need the cell arm anymore. I think Vegeta can just absorb everything using the Boo Goo. Or at least he can just absorb using his hand if he wants to.
"No! Stay away! Stay away, you demon!"
Okay.
Leaving Vegito to eventually stand above the helpless swordsman, looking down as he goes, Now, don't be like that. I thought we were starting to become friends. Now, before I take that energy of yours, do you have any last words, Guts?" As Vegito then slowly brings his grip right for the throat of the swordsman, leaving Guts to panic and yell, watching helplessly, You keep your filthy hands off me, God Killer!
Boom, he crushed
Fitting
it.
final words for such a weakling, Guts! As instantly, Vegito cuts short the final remarks and grabs Guts hard, beginning his energy absorption immediately as black aura
He
seeps
absorbed
deep into
all
his
using the
skin.
Android arm. He absorbed Guts' energy.
And with Guts having so much more energy than any god and angel before him, the process is not fast, allowing him to yell in terror as it happens. Oh my! And
The
Vegito,
energy.
absorbing the energy for the longest time he's ever had to,
Vegeta
then
loved
comments with a grin,
absorption.
This power!
This power.
It's unbelievable! It's never ending! You are so far beyond anyone I have ever fought before! This energy is going to take me to a whole new level! Keep going! Give me everything you have, Guts! As Vegito, in a greedy rage, raises the swordsman's entire body up into the air.
He absorbed
As
all
if
the
he were
energy.
a water bottle with some final drops of water to shake out. Your energy is mine! As even Vegito soon begins to struggle, taking in the unfathomable amount of ancient energy and power coming from the first of the five strongest. His teeth gritted as his body struggles to contain it all. But eventually, everything is taken.
Okay.
Vegito grabbing so hard, at the very end, he snaps the swordsman's neck too, killing him instantly in the process. Tossing his now lifeless body to the ground as if it were a piece of trash. Before, now left standing, looking into the palm of his left hand, now covered in its own black lightning, overflowing with energy like never before, a smile creeps across the God Killer's face, as he then comments, So, this is the kind of power I must wield to defeat those two. What an amazing
So he
feat.
will go to the...
What a rush! I've never felt anything like this before.
So he will go straight
I
to the...
need more!
So he will go to the second of the five
And
strongest.
immediately out of nowhere, Vegito then screamed at the top of his voice as all the incredible energy within him begins to explode outwards. It doesn't end there as the aura becomes larger and larger and in rapid time. And from a distance, eventually we see a dome of energy encompassing nearly the entire island, beginning to generate from Vegito alone. It even almost appears as though Vegito is self-destructing from the power. But unfortunately, he is not the only one there.
The Z power.
Oh! What? No! Everyone, get out! As the Z Fighters too, despite their huge distance away, all become lost in the light of Vegito's almighty new level of power. But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Vegito in the comments down below and let me know what you think of Vegito's newfound power now that he's eliminated even the first of the 5. Or just head over to my Patreon right now where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy.
Wow, I can't even fathom of what will happen in the next episode. Really can't. I'm just so shocked, but at the same time I just don't have any ideas so far. I think, okay, based on this, there will be a scene of Zeno Grand Prix talking, and Grand Prix will be kind of mad because the Zeno doesn't want to do anything. He'll order the second of the strongest to come, or Vegeta will just take me to the second of the strongest and everything using the angel stuff. But considering how weak the angels now are, I don't know whether the stuff can wheel to the strongest. I don't know. Can it directly transport? I don't know. But at least there will be that scene there, and at least considering Arch's pattern, I think it will be introducing the second of this 5 strongest. There will be some introductions, this and that, dialogue, little battle, and it will end, I don't know, not finishing battle yet, and then it will be continuing if it following the same pattern. But man, absorbing Boo, taking his energy, taking the old Ultra Vegito energy combined with Guts' energy. Wow. New power. I hope it's not a new strength, but new techniques from Guts, new way of winning things, not just key, but I don't know, or it's just new energy, new overflowing power, but with the same techniques and all. I also don't know. We haven't seen Majin Buu's Majin magic abilities being utilized yet by Vegito. This is getting interesting, just to guess, just to see, what will the outcome be, because there are multiple outcomes, and so far it is so good to see. So thank you guys. Thank you, Arj, for creating such an amazing, entertaining content for us. So thank you guys, until we meet again in the next react video. Bye.